So often you may work with a file that's got dozens of tabs, and this file is similar, where this is a summary tab looking at the annual sales of this XYZ company, and each tab is a month of the year, and it's got backup and more detail on that month's sales. And so typically what happens is you're looking through the summary, and you're going through and you'd be like, oh, December was a real big month for product A. I want to know more about that. So what most people do is you kind of go to the scroll bar and you go to December, and then you kind of look at your detail for product A over here, and oh, it had customer 4 about 74 units of product A. Maybe that's why it was such a good month. So you can do that, but a really great way to move through files really quickly, especially when you're trying to follow a formula and to check if it's correct and to check the detail behind it. What you do is you click in the cell, and in this case it's linking to the December sales tab, cell I5, and the formula you can go directly to it if you do the Control left bracket. That's Control left bracket, and it takes you directly to that cell. This can save you so much time, especially if it's it's 200 tabs down, and let's say it was H 10,055. It's all the way at the bottom. This can save you so much time of scrolling through tabs to track numbers. Also, another feature of this Control F bracket is, you see right here is it's actually linking to a totally different file that's not even open right now. And it may be you're like, I want to open that file and understand this pricing info more often. So what you can do is you can again do Control F bracket, and it'll actually open the file. It's only if this file is available. Like if this file is on someone else's hard drive, you probably won't be able to open it. But if this file is on your hard drive or shared drive, you will be able to open it. So in summary, the Control F bracket is a very good tool for moving through files and understanding your formulas and going through extremely quickly. Now, we just got done talking about the Control left bracket, and what that does is it takes you in a formula. It takes you to that specific formula, the source of that formula. So you can, instance, I'll do it right here, Control left bracket. But oftentimes when I do stuff like this is I'm looking at a summary. I want to verify one number on the summary, look at the detail, and then move back to my summary. So what you may do in this case is, okay, that number looks good. Let me scroll back. Let me go back to the annual sales. And I'm back where I want it to be. So I'll do the Control F bracket here again. So to get back to where you originally started, you may think to yourself, if Control left bracket takes me to the source, Control right bracket brings me back. So I just did it right there, and actually that it doesn't. What the Control right bracket does is it looks at more local. So in this case, this I5 is actually being multiplied in to get the revenue here, and it's also being summed up for the total. So it kind of takes you to the source of a local formula and not back to where you originally started. So I'll start over again here, and let's look at product B sales in December. I'll do the Control F bracket, and to get back, what you do is you hit F5 at the top of your keypad. And then you can either hit Enter or OK. It pops up the screen, and you either hit Enter or OK, and it takes you back directly to the Annual Sales tab, cell M6, to where I started. And I'll do this again. I'll look at June, and OK, Control F bracket got me there. Then I'll do F5 and Enter, and then F5 and Enter takes me right back. So in summary, using Control F bracket and F5 and Enter can help you move through your files very quickly. Especially if you want to verify certain data and then get back to the summary, it can be perfect for that. So many of you may use many computer monitors. I know at work I use 2, and I know people that use 3 or 4. And it can be great if you have to look at multiple sets of data and compare them on one time. On this example, I only have one screen, but I want to show you a tip or a tool that you can use that can greatly help you utilize multiple monitors to verify and check data. So in this case, you maybe want to stay on the summary tab. But let's say, hey, I want to look at October. Something funny or interesting looks in October, and it's a big change. So I want to look at October. And what you may want is I want to look at the October tab simultaneously. I also want to look at the summary tab. So what you can do in Excel, and this is just a great helpful tool, is you go to the View ribbon at the top. So you go to View, and then what you do is New Window. So I'm going to hit New Window. And what it does is it actually pops a whole new window up, and it actually renames the file in a sense. Is it calls this this file is called example, and this is example 1 view, and this is example 2. And you can actually do it if you want to do it again. Let's say we have 3 screens. You can actually do new window, and it'll actually pop up a 3rd screen. And what you could do is, if I have a computer screen off to the right, I can bring it over there. If I have a computer screen off to the left, I can bring it over there. And I want to have one on. I want to have one on the annual sales tab. I want to have one on the October tab. It can be really helpful for that. Now, a word of caution. I don't know why Excel does this. There's tons of little glitches in Excel, and this is one of them. When you let me go to let's go to the one here, and let's say let's say I wanted to freeze the panes here really quick, and on every tab I have these freeze panes. For some reason, if you go see, this was on the October sales tab. For some reason, when you do the view panes, when you create multiple instances, the original instance keeps a lot of your viewing panes and freeze panes, but the duplicated ones don't. They get rid of them. And so normally that's not a big problem. I mean, I can just add it, and it's really not a big deal. But the danger is, let's say if you have a file with 200 tabs, the danger is here is if actually you click out of the first one. I'm not going to do this, but if you click out of the first one, and then let me click out of the third one really quick here. But if you click out of the first one, and then you have the second one open, what happens is you actually lose those freeze panes. And it can be extremely tedious, and I'm speaking from experience here, as of trying to get the freeze panes back. And similar, let's say if you had, here, I'll show you here. This is example 2. You can see this one, it actually has the grid lines in the background, and if I go to my first one, it doesn't have the grid lines. And so if I actually exit out of the first one and then save this one, I'll lose all of my kind of viewing formatting. It's a weird Excel glitch, and this is just a word of caution for you. But overall, having multiple viewing panes is something I use all the time, and it can be great if you have to compare one report to another report, and can save you tons of time. Another good tip, and this file is not too complex, but let's go to kind of the January tab over here. Is sometimes you have all these formulas and stuff, and you want to quickly look at all the formulas. So a little tip is what you can do. It's in the top left corner, the button right below Escape. It's kind of the tilde, or it's a BACTA. And to look at all the formulas is you do Control tilde or Control BACTA. And what it does is you can actually, it shows you all the formulas in a view screen. So I can quickly look and see, okay, this one's doing, a sum if off this pricing sheet. It's looking at cells A3 to A5, and then it's looking up this, it's this cell A24. Let me kind of hit F2 to kind of look. Okay, yeah, that looks right. So this is really helpful, especially if you got a lot you want to know in your file. Hey, what's a hard-coded number? And what's what's a formula really quickly. So in this case, kind of columns A, B, C are some hard-coded numbers, but D and E are formulas. And so I think I'm good and I understand it. But and then to get back, you just do Control tilde or Control BACTA again, and you can do back and forth like that. And it's one of those things, like I'll do it here, but if on the March tab, but if I go to the Feb sales tab, it's not like that. It's actually on a tab by tab basis. So this is something I use, semi-regularly. It can be really helpful, especially if you want to understand what's hard code, what's a formula, what's going on in the formulas. You can expand it out really big. It can be a nice, helpful tool for you. Something that I like to do, especially when you have a number and you had to go through a lot of different things to get that number. And you know, it's something you may look at this number once a year, and so you want to remember, hey, where did this number come from? Or hey, why is this number higher than normal? Or what's going on? So a nice little tool is in Excel is you can actually add comments to cells. And actually right here I did add a comment because you can see, hey, you know, this is a really high sales number in December. What's going on there? And so if you kind of hover over it, it'll pop up and says volume is higher due to seasonally higher Christmas sales. And so, oh, okay, that makes sense. I remember now. This can be a super helpful tool. Like let's say, let me follow this. Let me go to the March, and you'd be like, okay, you know, 60 units. You know, where did this 60 units come from? You know, where this is a hard-coded number. I have no idea where this came from. And maybe you just want to put a note to yourself, you know, maybe in the number of units, and say, you know, number of units comes from the sales tracking file on the C drive. And so, especially if you're wondering, let's say you inherit a file, someone transitions you a file, and you're trying to figure out where certain numbers should come from to replicate what they were doing. This can be a really good tactic to like, oh, okay, where did this come from? Oh, it came from the sales tracking file. Duh, it's on the C drive. This can be super helpful for you. And see how I have to kind of hover over it? If you want to actually show all comments, what you do is you go to the review ribbon and you actually just click on the show all comments, and it actually it shows all your comments. And conversely, if you want to not show them, you can kind of click it again. And also sometimes you may want to print the comments, and that's an option too. If you go to I think the print preview is you can actually click on and show print comments as well. So the comment feature is really good, especially if you know, you're new to a file, or you have to transition the file, so you want to create you know, some breadcrumbs to be able to kind of follow certain numbers and certain things. It can be a very good tool for that.